Hello, my name is Jay and welcome back to my Tech Vault. And today we're going to be talking about all the different considerations, things you need to keep in mind, steps you have to take in order to upgrade your graphics card. Now, first off, people will be like, oh, this is very simple, you just throw in the graphics card. Yes and no. I want to kind of go over the purchase. I'll kind of make this video for the people. I know a lot of my subscribers are very seasoned computer builders, but for some of the people that are not so seasoned, maybe some of those people, I actually had a friend who came over and I put a new graphics card 2070 in. So basically just kind of do videos for kind of like those people, so that people like, I guess those, can go home and do this on their own without having to, call up somebody. Basically kind of like a library video where you can kind of figure out what you need to do. So starting off, I've got two different graphics cards here today. I've got a 2-slot, a 3-slot, and I can go find a single slot. But that's going to start off our first little comment of the day. So graphics cards can be quite lengthy. And of course, when you get into the problem of your case is only so big, your graphics card may be a little too long. So you need to make sure that you have enough length room, I guess, in order to be able to accommodate your card. So if you get something nice and fancy, maybe you get a big graphics card and you throw it in and it doesn't fit, well, that's kind of a problem. The other thing is, make sure that whatever graphics card you're getting, whether it be 3 slots, 2 slots, or 1 slot, that it actually also has the ability, of course, to fit in there. You don't want to have it conflicting with a sound card, which we really don't use anymore, but maybe like a Wi-Fi card. You really don't want to have it conflicting, so maybe make sure that you you have room for that as well. Also, the other thing to talk about is, of course, thermals. Now, this is not really as important because the kind of card you get really kind of isn't that big of a deal unless it's a really, really closed up system. So a blower style card is usually for those really small airtight form factor systems, which is basically a single fan blowing out with no other output. And then more like these cards, which are dual fans, and they do make 3 fan cards as well. Actually, this is a single and dual. But they do make those cards as well. Those are more for the open cases. That's not really a requirement, more of a preference. But the next part is going to be kind of essential. So make sure that this card, whatever card you get, does not get bottlenecked. And usually when people are buying a new graphics card, it's not going to be the graphics card that's going to be bottlenecking the system. Rather, it's going to be the rest of the system that's bottlenecking the graphics card. And so here today, I've got I've got an i5 system here, but I want to basically talk about kind of what the background is. So, for example, I have an i5 in the system, i5 3750K, and then like 8 gigabytes of RAM of DDR3. Obviously, that's a relatively good system for kind of these cards here, but it would not be a relatively good system if I wanted to get a 2080 Ti. Why? Well, because first off, the processor itself, even though it's overclocked to like 4.2 gigahertz, is not going to be able to withstand and basically support that graphics card in the sense that you can load it up and you're going to be having frame issues, you're going to be having lag spikes, and you're not going to get the full potential out of your card because simply the other hardware can't keep up with it. Same goes for RAM. In particular, my friend actually had a Ryzen 1700X, which is on the borderline of bottlenecking for the card he got, but not, on top of that, his RAM was running extremely slow, which the RAM was definitely bottlenecking, and so I've recommended him to go upgrade his RAM since shortly after he's gotten his new graphics card, which then of course will alleviate a lot of those problems. And then, of course, I also take a quick part of this video to show you guys exactly what you have to do to make sure that, of course, you have put the graphics card in right, how to install it, which is relatively easy, and why I didn't start with that. The other thing I want to talk about is wattage requirements. So first off, if your power supply, especially for pre-builds like my friend that was putting this graphics card in, do not have an ample power supply. They have what we call the lowest end option. All, I guess, system builders do this, and it's basically so they can save as much money as possible. So this, whatever power supply you get, make sure it can support your graphics card, because, for example, this is a 2-pin power supply, it's a 6-pin and an 8-pin. You both need plugs for those in order for this graphics card to fully work. So, of course, that's going to be difficult for that power supply if it only has 1 pin because the manufacturer cheaped out. It's not going to be good. It's not going to support your graphics card. Also, make sure that you don't pull too much wattage, because if you pull too much wattage when you're gaming, your CPU is pretty high, and your GPU is also pulling a lot of wattage, it's going to basically cause your system just to shut off, and that's not going to be really fun when you're in the middle of a game, especially when it's really intensive, which is what it sounds like you're going to be doing. But mostly that's pretty much it. Enjoy this little time lapse of how to kind of install a graphics card. It's relatively going to be easy. You can just pause the video in between if you see something in kind of the steps. Basically, long story short, you just go through, pop off the pins on the side for the expansion slots, find a PCIe 6X slot, and just throw that in there. Of course, at the time of this video, that's 16X, sorry, not 6X, 16X, and of course at the time of this video it is 16X is the highest, so whatever ends up being in the future, find the ample length for the PCIe slot, plop it in there, and then of course plug everything in, and you should be good as long as you've done all your research. Make sure you have enough room, and pretty much that's it. So thank you very much for watching. Enjoy this little time lapse at the end of I guess everything that needs to I guess the full installation process, and as always, thank you very much for watching.
After my silver soul, can you dig any deeper now? I gave you all I own, put you on this golden throne, but I'm a little stronger now. You cashed in on